All right, Chris, so check these guys out. I think we went over these, but just in case. So in the first case, right here, we are crossing heterozygous and homozygous recessive, and as a result, you have two that are heterozygous, right here, and then two that are homozygous recessive. So when they ask you what percentage of offsprings will be round, since round are dominant, that means that you're going to be looking at the ones, the genotypes that have a capital R in them. And that will be this one and that one. That's 2 out of 4, which is 1 of 2. So that's exactly 50%. Your next one, you have both of them are heterozygous. So you set up your Punnett square as follows, right here. That's your square. And then they're asking you again, what percentage will be round. Again, you're looking at the ones that have capital R. So we have homozygous dominant and 2 heterozygous. That is 3/4, which is 75%. So that's your answer, 75%. And the last one, you have homozygous dominant and then 1 heterozygous. All your offsprings are going to have at least 1 dominant allele. So all of them are going to be round in our case. The next page, we have homozygous dominant, and then we have a homozygous recessive. And all of your offsprings are going to be heterozygous, and all of them will be tall because tall is dominant. So your percentage is 100. In the next one, you have the cross of 2 heterozygous plants. So that's your cross right here. Heterozygous, homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, and then 2 heterozygous. When they're asking you what percentage will be short, short is the recessive, and it has to be homozygous recessive in order for the offsprings to be short. So that is only this one, which is only 1 of 4. That's 1/4, that's 25%. And then the rest of them are tall, which is 75%. A heterozygous round seed plant is crossed with a homozygous round being dominant, and they're asking you what percentage of the offsprings will be homozygous. Well, there's only these two, 1 and 2, exactly 2 out of 4, which is 50%. A homozygous round and a homozygous wrinkled. First, they're asking you to write what genotypes are. So homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive. All of your offsprings, when you cross 2 homozygous, all of your offsprings are going to be heterozygous, providing that homozygous were opposite. If you crossed all homozygous recessive, then all your offsprings would be homozygous recessive. If you crossed all homozygous dominant, all of your offsprings would be homozygous dominant. But if they are opposite, the homozygous are opposite, then all of your offsprings are going to be heterozygous. So when they're asking you how many of them will be homozygous, well, because they were opposite, then you will have absolutely no homozygous. When they're asking you what genotype all of the offsprings will be, that would be a heterozygous. So that's your answer. Now, the second part of this page, we have purple being dominant to white. 2 white flowers, plants are crossed. I'm going to choose P, capital P for dominant, and lowercase p for recessive. We have lowercase p, lowercase p, lowercase p, lowercase p. All of them are going to be homozygous recessive. Both flowers are white, which means they are homozygous recessive. So white flowers are going to be 100%. All of them are going to be white. All of them are going to be homozygous recessive. And we have a white flower is crossed with a plant that is heterozygous for that trait. I have my white flower, which is right here. And then I have my heterozygous right here. So your cross is going to be heterozygous versus homozygous recessive. So purple flowers, again, are the ones that have at least 1 capital P. We have this could be homozygous dominant. It would be a purple flower. And it could be a heterozygous, which would also be a purple flower. So purple flowers, we have these two, the top row, which means that we have 2 out of 4 1 out of 2, which is 50%. And that's what you write over here. 2 plants, both heterozygous with a gene. So that's your Punnett square. Both of them are heterozygous. And as you can see, we've done that before. Your cross is only going to have 1 homozygous dominant, 1 homozygous recessive, and the other 2 are going to be heterozygous. So purple flowers are going to be the ones that have at least 1 capital P. So this is 1, 2, 3 out of 4, 75%. And 1 white flowers are these guys, again 1/4, it's 25%. Next question, number 12. In guinea pigs, the alleles for short hair are dominant. What genotype is heterozygous for short hair? You would have, I'm going to use S. So S and lowercase s. Short-haired guinea pigs would be pure breeding. They're asking pure breeding. These would be both capital. And then genotype would long-haired guinea pigs be? Well, because this is, the short is dominant, then the only option for long would be homozygous recessive. So lowercase s. Show the cross for 2 heterozygous guinea pigs. Well, there you go. Your heterozygous gives you the usual. And short hair, again, since short is dominant, it could be homozygous dominant or heterozygous. So homozygous is this, and then we have heterozygous. So altogether, 75%. So short hair will be the only homozygous recessive that you see in the lower right corner. So that's going to be 25% because it's only 1 out of 4. So that was your, you've done this yourself. And then here's the second page for this.